I've read the novella The Time Machine, written in 1895 by Herbert George Wells. I think the overall literary genre in this book is science fiction, but I think the future the time traveler finds himself in can be a reflection of the real world as well. Themes in the book are evolution, future, and class division. One word, said I. Have you been time traveling? Yes, said the time traveler with his mouth full, nodding his head. This is a quote from one of the first pages of the book, and from this quote you can already tell that it is going to be a science fiction story. From the title of the book you can also know that it is going to be something science fictional, because the title of the book is The Time Machine. Later you can conclude that it is clearly a science fiction story, because the protagonist has invented the time machine and travels to the year 802,701. It seems like the Eloi live in a utopian society. They are living in plenty and they are completely liberated from work. And the first thought of the time traveler is that the Eloi are living in a communism-like society. But when the time traveler discovers the existence of the Morlocks, he thinks there might be another explanation. It can be that the social separation between the rich and the poor has become so extreme that the two groups have evolved into separate species. Around the middle of the story, the time traveler comes to this realization and he thinks, and I quote, "But gradually the truth dawned on me. That men had not remained one species, but had differentiated into two distinct animals." This conclusion plays a very important part in this novella, and that shows that evolution is an important part in this book. I think the future world that Wells described is in fact a reflection of the late 19th century where Wells lived in. The time traveler suggests that the social separation between the rich and the poor has become so extreme that the two groups have evolved into different species. This is very appropriate in the late 19th century because the analysis of Karl Marx and the theory of evolution were very new and innovative at that time. And the fact that Wells was socialist and a scientist with a particular interest in evolution makes me believe this even more. So while it may seem like the future the time traveler went to is an utopian society at first, I think that it has a more dystopian character. I think that the message Wells tried to bring over was that there needed to change something in society. And I think he tried to say that if there wouldn't be any change, the difference between the rich and the poor would eventually be insurmountable. And while the diverging from mankind into two different species seems a bit over the top, I think that it is a good metaphor which suited perfectly in the time back then.